there's a right old din going on around here. The Farnell fans here in force as ever from Manchester, and Ojay Abrahams here has been winding them up on the ring apron beforehand. Farnell unbeaten in 20 with 15 knockouts, the 21-year-old who seems to be improving all the time. Abrahams, despite recent defeats, can be very dangerous. For instance, in this ring, one of his shock wins was against knockout specialist Darren Dyer, and he came up to me beforehand tonight and said, watch this, I'm going to be explosive. Well, let's see if he is. Farnell in the gold trunks, calling himself the Warrior.
Well, this is all part of Farnell's education. He's coming along very well, but they're taking a bit more of a chance with him now against somebody who is a noted puncher.
Farnell, 2.5 pounds heavier, 11 stone 4.5. Begs the question, will he be a middleweight soon? Light middle up to now. Trying to improve his boxing skills as well. He's normally a pressure fighter, but is trying to be a little more refined. Definitely looks as if he's filling out all the time. He'll know about Abraham's reputation as a bit of a digger, won't he?
Yes, he will, and Brian Hughes is trainer, very sensible. He'll send him out there with, with the word, just have a look at him, take your time, use your jab, and do nothing silly early on.
Just jabs from Farnell early on. Possibly got a spot on the big Mike Tyson bill coming up in Milan. He fought on the last one in January. Noticeably, Farnell looking to improve his defence, which in Germany a couple of fights ago did look pretty bad, didn't it?
Yes, it did. I think he was very anxious in that fight, and he did let himself get hit a few times that he shouldn't have, and he can't really afford to do anything like that with Ojay Abrahams.
Very tight defence so far from Farnell. Almost peekaboo. Abrahams is 35 now. One of the real eccentric characters of the circuit. Abraham's recent results have been as bad on paper as those of his beloved Watford Football Club, but he's a bit better than that.
Well, it's been a quiet round with Farnell just having a good look at Abrahams and using that jab. Abrahams doing very little at all.
Now look at this at the end of the last round. Verbals between the two fighters. Farnell a bit daft to get involved.
Yes, just both staring at each other, both realised they just had to do a little bit of eyeball to eyeball. Still trying to sight. Nobody's really got the mental contest one yet, because nothing really happened in the first round.
What do you think it was? An invitation to tea tomorrow afternoon?
Somehow I think not.
Here's the second round. Farnell in the gold trunks. His fans go everywhere to see him. There were 80 of them when he appeared in New York. They even got to Lübeck in Germany by bus and trawler and God knows what else. Abrahams trying to find gaps in Farnell's defence. So far unsuccessfully, but the youngster will have to keep his concentration going here.
And he'll have to stay on top of Abrahams. He can't allow Abrahams to become the boss in there.
He's cut Farnell, Glenn.
Well, that's bad news for Farnell, but he really needs to start letting his own punches go a little bit. He's just allowing Abrahams to hit him at will here.
Just looking a little too cautious and maybe over-respectful. And Abraham's taking his cue from that. Looks like a cut by the forehead. There's a lot of blood around there with Farnell, who may move here to plan B and go into a real tear-up with Abrahams. Good left hand made Abrahams give ground. He's 35 now, Ojay.
Well, it looks quite a bad cut on the eyebrow. So he really needs now to start throwing some punches, Farnell.
Well, the idea of boxing within his shell has now kind of backfired. He is basically a pressure fighter, and he doesn't really want to forget that, Farnell. You get the impression with him that no matter how he starts, he's always going to end up as a brawl. Now that's a horrible cut. Farnell could be looking at the first defeat of his career here, albeit on a cut. It's a nasty one by the left eye.
Well, it's in a bad place as well. Really will just run into the eye. So he needs to get this job done very quickly.
He's going to have to now just really get fired up and trade with Ojay Abrahams, and that strategy will be dangerous. His blood is flowing into the eye for Farnell. Good left hand to the body from him. One thing we've always liked about Farnell is his tremendous attitude and fighting spirit. Always wants to be learning. He's had to come through a crisis or two along the way already, and here's another one. It's a bad cut, Glenn.
It's a very bad cut in a very bad place as well. They really don't have to work hard on that, but he needs to let the punches go and to stay on top. It's very important for Farnell to do that.
Good left hooks from him. Abrahams just breathing a little heavily. As another body shot lands, Farnell needs to get back to them. Now Abrahams, who was disqualified a few fights ago against Wayne Alexander, needs to watch his step here. At the end of the first round, he was pushing and arguing with Farnell. This time he's shoved him across the ring. He's way out of order here.
Well, that was a silly thing to do, really was. You know, Farnell was facing the other way when he pushed him, and he didn't really need to do that.
Well, he's trying to wind up Farnell here, and that's the way the cut might have happened, clash of heads.
Well, he really is rubbing the head in the face of Farnell. And there is blood about there, and yes, that looks where it did happen. You just see the head rubbing in the face, and then all of a sudden he has a cut. So that's very bad news for Farnell. There they are, the heads clashing together there.
It was nearly a butt by Abrahams, wasn't it?
Well, when you see it in slow motion there, he was head down and he was leading with the head.
It was pretty careless use of the head. Larry O'Connell has to read the riot act, notably to Ojay Abrahams, who again is in danger of getting thrown out here. Farnell in the gold trunks. No shortage of incident here. How good a mending job have they done on the cut? Well, Abrahams is certainly giving Farnell a hard time. And that's again very, very dangerous use of the head. Oh, and Farnell has lost his temper with it. The referee had told them to split up, and there's a 2-point deduction here for Anthony Farnell. 2 points away. He was butted, no doubt about that, but then completely lost his rag and threw a shot at Abrahams after the referee had called a halt to the action. That's like losing 2 rounds.
Well, this really is getting ridiculous, and Farnell, with all the trouble in the world from that cut, doesn't need that as well.
Now, Abrahams, in my view, should have a deduction himself here as well. I would think the gist of that conversation was any more of that and you're out of here. This is an ill-tempered and dirty fight. And it's a real grudge match now, even if it wasn't to start with.
Well, again, that head rubbing in the face of Farnell.
I think Abrahams is one more indiscretion away from a disqualification, and Farnell, of course, has to really watch his step 2 now, having had 2 points deducted. I think Abraham should have had a point deducted as well for the headbutt.
Yes, I think he should have, and again, going in with that head.
The cut holding up for the moment. Well, this is a dramatic undercard fight here. It's another test of character for Farnell, who seems to have got his composure back. Good body shot, left hand. Seemed to come up for breath after it landed, Abrahams.
Well, he's got to do this, Farnell, without getting hit himself. He's got to try and pick his punches very well, be very accurate.
Looking for those right uppercuts all the time, Ojay Abrahams. Looking a bit groggy here. I think he's just trying to sucker Farnell in and look for a counter.
Yes, he's just trying to draw him in for the big punch. I'm sure Farnell would have been too sensible to fall for that one.
Yes, there was no Oscar nomination for that, was there?
No, that was a little too obvious. But he is looking a little tired. Abrahams now starting to get hit more and more by Farnell.
Farnell looking to rough his man up. He's breathing heavily, Abrahams. Is getting pretty old these days at 35. Now then, just look at this. This is something from the street corner on a Saturday night, never mind the York Hall. And Farnell made the mistake of losing his temper. He was butted.
Yes, it really is. Just dropped his head in there and very distressed with that. And then just losing his head.
I think there were a few four-letter words flying in there as well.
And there he goes. He's looking to try and land one on Abrahams. But really, he's got to control himself. Whatever happens, you've got to keep your cool in the ring.
2 points deducted. Fourth round, whatever next here. A nerve-shredding experience for Farnell's fans from the Clarendon pub on the street where Farnell himself grew up. Cut no worse, certainly, for Farnell. It looked very, very bad when it happened. Left jab this time. He seemed to just...
Well, he looked as if he'd hurt
a bit, didn't he, Abrahams, with that?
He looked as if he'd hurt his shoulder. There's definitely a mark of distress. He's dropping his right arm down.
Farnell senses that Abrahams is a little distressed.
Well, that was a good right uppercut from Abraham, so his arm can't be that bad. Maybe again just trying some tricks with Farnell.
He's trying to sucker him. He's trying to sort of old man him out of it, isn't he?
And this is a real test of character and experience for Farnell.
Chance of Arnie, that's what it's Farnell's fans call him, although his real name's Anthony, a former street tearaway and truant. Heads again coming dangerously close together. And their heads again clashing there. And Abrahams is coming in with his particularly low, almost leading with the head at times.
But one of the problems for Farnell is he's coming in straight lines. What he's not doing, he's not thinking, he's not trying to take a step, use a little bit of lateral movement and come in from angles. And I think just what's gone on in this fight has really upset Farnell.
Tell you what, Larry O'Connell's earning his fee in there, isn't he?
Well, it's a good job they've got a very experienced referee in Larry O'Connell to deal with a fight like this.
Bit better from Farnell, and he finds the right hand as well, just picking his shots a little better. Abrahams clinging on for dear life and free with the head again.
Well, I think it really is time for Abraham to have a point taken off. You know, he showed the head too many times.
Yes, too many times for it to be an accident, that's for certain. Good right cross in there from Farnell. Left hook from Abrahams. They've done a good job with the cut, the Farnell corner. He's winning the rounds all right, but he's had 2 points off, remember. There's Ojay Abrahams, beaded in sweat after this grueling fight with a few tantrums in it and a lot of head work too.
Yes, there certainly is there. Oh, just using all the tricks he can, Abrahams there, holding the ropes and pushing himself with his head into Farnell.
Here's the 5th round of this. Young Anthony Farnell in the gold trunks. Still learning his trade, and that has included taking ballet lessons to improve his footwork and balance, something he's been trying to keep quiet from his friends, I think.
I'm sure he would as well. Well, no ballet needed in this one. This is really throwback stuff, just a case of hard boxing, but he needs to show a little bit more skill in there and just not matching Abraham's head on like he keeps doing. You know, he just needs to take a step off to the side.
There's a right hand there from Farnell. Good shot. And Abraham still has his pride. A man who even released his own video. Not many fighters ranked about 20 in Britain have their own videos out. But Ojay does.
Good right hand from Abrahams. Well, Abrahams is really making Farnell work here and try and puzzle him out. Very unorthodox Abrahams with a few tricks up his sleeve.
Good body shots from Farnell. 3 or 4 of them in there. Oh, and it's a bit low from Abrahams, the left hook. Keep them up, says Larry O'Connell. Abrahams, who calls himself me, myself and I, a reference to his role as a single parent to his son Cassius. Now he is having a point deducted, Abrahams. And I'd have to say, not before time. Low blows. There were a couple of them.
Well, this really is a foul-filled contest with a lot of bad feeling.
Good-looking left hook from Abrahams. I'm not sure it got through Farnell's defence. Farnell talking to Abrahams here. Farnell all the time looking for body shots on the inside.
Well, he's going to have to be very, very gritty to come through this, Farnell.
There's the head again. Stop complaining to me, says the referee to Farnell, and get on with the fight. You wonder what's going to happen here next. There have been more headers here from Ojay Abrahams than he used to get from Malcolm McDonald in an average game.
Well, he's landed a few decent shots in this round, Abrahams.
Another explosive round. Larry O'Connell is talking to Ojay Abrahams about his many fouls in there tonight. He's on thin ice, all right. The latest transgressions, low blows.
Well, that was very low. I think he tried to get his own back a little bit there as well, Farnell. He tried to hit him low, but Abraham's final one was just too much.
Here's the 6th round. Farnell, 2 points deducted. Abrahams, 1 point deducted so far. And in the middle of all that, I think Farnell is winning the fight handily. Cut. They've done a good job with it. It did look a serious problem in the 2nd round.
Well, he's trying to whip these heavy hooks in Abrahams, and Farnell says, come on, you know, give me some more, calling him in. I'd like to see Farnell start to loosen up and not try and put too much into every punch. Try to throw some combinations.
Looks quite heavy set here, doesn't he, Farnell, at a 11-4.5. I think came in there tonight with the deliberate idea of trying to psych out Farnell, and I think to some extent he's managed to do that.
I think he has. I think Farnell's setting himself too much. He's not fighting the fight he should. He's not letting the punches go the way he should, and he's getting embroiled in a fight where, you know, he's got more skills than that.
Not that you could really condone Ojay Abraham's methods of trying to psych out Farnell. Only a nodding acquaintance with the Queensberry rules in there.
Well, it does happen, and fighters have to be used to that. That does, you know, it shouldn't be, but it is part of the game. It's a tough profession.
Mind you, if there's one young fighter who you'd think would like a rough house, it's Farnell, isn't it?
Exactly. So he's getting a little bit back.
It looked to be a little after the referee had said break. There was use of the shoulder as well. Good left hook from Farnell, though, this time. Abrahams barges his man, holds on for dear life. Time out again. Now then, one more point off, this time for holding on and barging from Abrahams.
And I think he said one more and you're out. That's enough. So I think he could be on his very last warning here, Ojay Abrahams.
And if he is thrown out, he'll be carpeted by the British Boxing Board of Control, particularly as he's recently been disqualified with a fairly disgraceful performance against Wayne Alexander. Mind you, in a rematch, he gave the British champion all the trouble he could handle. I think there were about 5 knockdowns in the fight. It's looked a bit low again from Abrahams. He's on his final warning here, Abrahams. That opens up again for Farnell.
More live Super League action for you. Sunday night, top of the table Bradford home to Castleford in the 4th round of games in the Super League. Exclusive live action from Odsal. Sunday night, 6:30, only on Sky Sports 3. And now back to some more bruisers, and I'm not talking about Glenn and Ian.
No, they're very definitely in the ring, Paul. Ojay Abrahams now goes through an exaggerated sort of bowing routine to the referee. He was beating his heart with his glove as he went back to his corner and trying to wind up Farnell's fans.
Well, that's all well and good, but he's got to get out of the ring.
And go past them as well.
Well, he has managed to land that uppercut quite a few times, found a gap through the defences of Farnell.
Leaning up against the ropes. Abraham's Lario kind of trying to manage a smile somewhere amid all of this. Oh, what a rough, dirty fight this is. Can't take your eyes off it though, can you?
Well, this certainly isn't the noble art.
Farnell might have a little bit of damage by the other eye as well now.
Yes, he's got a swelling, a bit of bruising around the right eye, also blood from the nose caused by some good uppercuts from Abrahams.
Again, the heads close together. Blood from the nose too of Farnell. Ojay Abrahams might be finding a little letter dropping through his letterbox from the Boxing Board of Control in the next few days. don't think he cares too much, you know. I think he reckons he's got a living to earn, and he'll do it the best way he knows how. There's the head again. Again, Farnell shoots a glance at the referee.
Well, really what Farnell needs to do is shoot an uppercut in there, not a glance at the referee. Time and time again, Abrahams dips his head forward, and yet Farnell not throwing the uppercut.
Trying to brawl Abrahams into submission. Abrahams has been stopped 8 times in his career. Farnell's face a mess. I'll tell you what, they'll struggle to get him ready again to be fighting on the Mike Tyson bill on May the 20th. If that was the plan. Good left hook from Abrahams in there. I think that just hurt Farnell a little. Came back with good shots of his own.
Farnell trying to keep busy. He needs to throw more punches. Time and time again, he's looked to load up, and he hasn't get the shots off.
Beats his heart again. Ojay Abrahams as he goes back to the corner. What was your favourite Harry Greb quote? This ain't the noble art.
And that it's noble artist. Yeah, he's making that come true, isn't he?
Now here's the deduction for the headbutt from Ojay Abrahams. Oh, look at that.
Well,
Sixth
it was
round.
well warranted, wasn't it? He did just come in with the head down. He'll want a bit low as well for good measure. And he really is doing everything he can to rough Anthony Farnell up. But he's in danger of being thrown out. Well, that's how I've got it. I've got Farnell a big leader on the scorecard, but he has had some awful trouble in there tonight.
Need a degree in pure maths, don't you, to work out the scorecard here with all the deductions, because every round has to be scored on a 10-point must system. That is, the winner of the round has to have 10. Then you work out with all the deductions what the other guy's got. We think we're about right. It's the 8th round. Farnell, bruised and bloodied, but ahead. Ojay Abrahams, very close to being disqualified. Farnell has passed the test of character, to be fair to him, and I think any youngster would have struggled to look that smooth in the face of these tactics.
Well, he's passed the test of character, but yeah, his boxing brain, he hasn't passed that test.
No knockdown, no knockdown. Just a slip by a tired Ojay Abrahams.
He really needed to use his thinking a lot more than he has, Farnell. He's been drawn into a fight that he really didn't need to be.
Well, I think he reckons this is the only way to deal with these brawling, foul-filled tactics, head-first tactics of Abrahams, is to keep pummeling hooks and body shots. It has not been pretty, but Farnell is getting the job done.
This really is a mess now, Farnell. It's going to take a long while for those injuries to clear up.
He's trying to out-brawl Abrahams now, a tired Ojay Abrahams, who's leaning against those ropes. This is the last round, and there's a minute to go. Farnell has survived the cut and survived the fouls, and it looks like he will keep his unbeaten record here.
Well, Abrahams looking tired, but still managing to pull a right hook out.
Oh, and this time, that's all we needed. Through rather loose ring ropes and onto the table of the timekeeper. Now we've seen it all in this fight.
And they could have called this the brawl with it all, because we've seen every foul there possibly is in there.
Ojay can make another video of this, can't he? There goes the final bell. Farnell is the winner. And at the end, surprisingly, they do embrace Farnell's fans. They must have had some worrying moments in there, but he's won the fight. Pretty dubious tactics by Ojay Abrahams, though, really, weren't they?
Yes, it was, but you know, he's got to think, you know, what am I going to do to unsettle this guy? What am I going to do to try and win and to survive? And that's what he thought he had to do. I mean, he hasn't been disqualified. He's got through, not a mark on his face. The other guy's a mess.
Yeah, but there is a limit, isn't there?
Oh, most certainly there is. But he's not looking at that. He's looking at what's best for him.
Well, 138 landed by Farnell in the middle of all of that. Abrahams 102. Although Abrahams threw a lot more punches. Look at Farnell's face. He knows he's been in a fight here tonight. Ojay Abrahams leaning outside the ropes to tell us, to pass on a message to his son Cassius that he's okay and is coming straight home. Cassius, he's okay and he's on his way home.
You mean Cassius is watching that?
He might tell his dad off, mightn't he?
He might.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 8 very active rounds, the referee scores the contest. Ojay Abrahams, 76 points. Anthony Farnell, 78 points. The winner, Anthony Farnell.
One wins out of 21. He's probably learned a lot, but exactly what? Let's find out with Ian.
Well, Anthony, that was a nice friendly little 8 rounds, wasn't it?
No, I knew it'd be hard, but you could see in the first round I tried boxing or moving. It came in with his head, like cut me, and it took everything away from me. I was thinking about that more than my jab and more than boxing, really.
Was that as rough and dirty as a fight as it looked to us?
Yeah, it's very dirty, you see, so I give him back, but like it took all my boxing plan away from me, you know, getting cut the first time and badly cut. And I came through it, and that's what I've got to do, come through things like this, but it's like learning experience. Don't want it again, like, but it's good. He's a strong lad, tough lad.
You lost your rag with him completely, didn't you, when he butted him the first time? I mean, you were a bit out of order yourself there when you got the 2-point deduction.
Well, if he gives it me, I'm going to give it him back. Yeah. Oh, not that nice guy stuff, no, I'm going to give it him back. But it was an half fight, and I came through it. I boxed crap, so the truth of it, I boxed crap, but, you know, that's life.
Well, it was just a complete roughhouse brawl, wasn't it? Hard to look good in that.
Well, as you see in the first round, I tried boxing him. Well, he didn't come off because I got caught, and I thought, if I try to box him and hits me with a jab, he's going to open it more. So I thought, Brian said, get him close, so he can nullify his big right hands over the top, but that's what I did.
Let's bring in Frank Warren. Frank, it was a dirty fight. Where does Anthony Farnell go from here? I mean, he needs a break with that cut.
Well, that's a bad cut, so that's got here. You know, it's just a shame what happened with, he butted him. It's a deliberate butt, there's no doubt about that. And Ojay's done those things before. We've seen him a lot of times commit fouls like that. But Andy's got to realise, you know, in boxing, you've got all different styles, and he's got to keep his composure going. And unfortunately, he didn't do that tonight. He stopped using his jab. He weren't throwing the uppercuts, but it's a fight that he'll learn from. He's still a young guy, and hopefully he'll learn for it, and I'm sure he'll go on to win the British title.
Thanks a lot, guys. A learning fight with a difference, I think we might say.